David Micallef. I'm the president of Globe, the gay and lesbian organisation of business and enterprise, and really proud to be here at the Midsumma DT's Bake-Off today. There's some amazing cakes that have been baked today, and I'm really looking forward to trying some if I get to. But if you haven't made it down here, make sure you come down here next year, because it's always an amazing event every year, and it just shows how talented our community is.
Hi, my name's Diane Dean.
And I'm Terry Ann.
And I'm Mez. I'm here today with my lovely friends at DT's. We're here because of the fundraiser for Pride. It's a cake fundraiser, and we're here to support Dykes on Bikes, whom I've just become a member of in the last 12 months.
I have 2 grown-up daughters and 4.5 grandchildren, and my partner's got 5 grandchildren. And we've been together 20 years this year, and we're here today to support Dykes on Bikes. And I haven't got a bike, I've got a toy bike.
She's got a dyke.
I'm a member of Rainbow Cloggers, and I had been clogging for about, I suppose 20 years. And unfortunately, we've just disbanded, but we still will be there for some sort of fundraising and events throughout the year.
I also have one child. He's 24, and Terry Ann has been part of his life since he was 4. And he's now about to have, he and his partner are pregnant, and they're having a daughter in December, and we can't wait to be grandparents.
When you've got grandchildren, you start to mature.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my partner and I, between us, we've got 5 kids, ranging from late 30s to middle 40s, and that's very old. And then my eldest granddaughter is 22, and my youngest is 12. So we're very busy with our grandchildren and very busy with our friends. So, yeah. And I came out in the 70s, and it was a bit difficult then because I had 2 little ones, but we went through all that, and now we're here. And my grandkids don't care what I am or who I am. Well, they know Nana's nuts, but that's a different story. In my day, they didn't accept you. I think I got spat on, shoved. No one wanted to know me. It was pretty bad then, in those days. But now it's all changed. It's everybody accepts it. My grandson, this is a very good story, this one. He's 12, and apparently they're talking about my partner and myself. And my little boy said, who's 12, is Nana gay? And they've gone, Oscar, of course Nan's gay. And like 20 years we've been together. And he said, oh, is that why they call each other babe? It's like, yep, that's it.
And I've got one little story about my son when he was about 4. He was playing in the backyard with his little Flintstones characters, and he said, oh, hang on, Mum, I've got to make this right. So he put Barney and Fred together and Wilma and Betty together. And I just cracked up and I said, I think it's time I had a bit of a talk to him about relationships, and there's no such thing as the right sort of couple.
Hi, my name's Jack. This day here, Bake-Off Day, is one of my favourite days of the year. Throughout the calendar, it's a good day. We raise money for Pride March, which is also another good day throughout the year. I've marched in Pride March a couple of times now, and a part of Midsumma, which is always a fun time to look forward to. I'm part of Melbourne Spikers, the Melbourne volleyball team.
My name's Maxine Weatherman, and I'm here with my sisters and my niece to support our brother in the Bake-Off to raise money for the Gay Pride March.
My name's Noah. I grew up in the US, but I've lived in Melbourne for the last 12 years. I came here because I like to look at the cakes, which I haven't yet, but I will shortly. Used to come to DT's all the time for trivia. It's a good, friendly place, and anything that's a good cause like Pride March, excellent fundraiser, happy to support. My partner is one of the captains of the Melbourne Chargers, so I usually go to Melbourne Chargers events as well.
My name is Natasha Kvostik. This is my wife, Rachel.
Hello.
We're here today to support the Bake-Off. We made the drag queen cake with real Ken. We're hoping maybe we might make a little sneaky cheeky bid on something as well today to take home. So, yeah.
I'm Jeff Montgomery. I'm with Prep Access Now. I'm one of the committee members there, and I actually made the prep cake that we have here. And it is a African Swaziland chocolate mud cake with a Australian queen vanilla cream cheese frosting and a cream filling. Involved quite a bit with Laird, and I did a lot of the AWOL stuff. I went to a lot of that, but mostly Melbourne Queer Film Festival. I went to that as well. I volunteered for that. But mostly it's with Prep Access Now that keeps me pretty busy, especially after the recent events where we didn't make it onto the PBS. So we've got another year of work ahead of us for that.
Hello, this is Paula. No, you're going to do this. You're going to do the walk and talk. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Paula Jane Commons from Melbourne Queer Film Festival. Today I'm excited to say that we're raising money for Midsumma. If you want to know what I actually do, I'm actually on the board of the Melbourne Queer Film Festival. I'm new to it and I absolutely love it. So anyway, I'm doing the walk and talk apparently. Hi ladies, how are you? Welcome to today. Have you got some favourite cakes in mind that you might bid on?
I like the doll cake.
The doll cake. What is it about the doll cake? Does it take you back to the days we used to play with dolls with your brother?
No, I just like the muscular legs.
There you go. So, we seem to have cleared the room. Nobody actually wants to be asked any questions. So
I'm Harriet. Who are you?
I'm Campbell. and we're the Regal Vices.
On Joy 94.9. Queen of the night, really, but she's away.
Yes,
Tim's away.
The Queen of the Night's away, so we're taking over. Yeah.
Anyway, we, of course, if we volunteer for Joy,
yes,
of course we think the wonderful cake. And it's in your line of work, really,
yes,
isn't it? You do the panel.
I do the panelling, so there's a panel cake out there. Quite pleased with that. So.
And we think it's fantastic, and it should go off for auction really well. If it doesn't, there's something drastically wrong.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Matt McGaw. I'm gay, and I sort of support Joy, Midsumma Carnival, and Melbourne Queer Film Festival.
I'm Froggy, and I make a cake today, and I'm from Work for Your Bags, and my cakes kind of show equality. I'm trying to bring out we should really get over this gay marriage thing and get it done, and then we can talk something else more interesting, actually. Yeah. It's just about baking and bring everybody joy and happiness and, yeah, and fundraising. Everybody can do it, bake at home and, yeah.
Think before you speak.
The last time I told you, when you told your mother and your mother told me that you told her the secret, I told you not to tell me.
Hi, you're watching Bent TV, and this is Lip Service. My panel tonight is Kirsty, Anthony, and Maz. We're here to help your problems. We've got one or two to get through, so let's get straight into it. Now, Lance's housemate is borrowing his clothes on a regular basis. What, is that okay? He's challenged him about it, but he continues to do it. What do we...
So this isn't borrowing with permission. This is actually just taking for personal use.
Apparently, Lance said he goes, "Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I wash them. You know, it's not, what's the big deal?"
That's liberties, I'd say. Liberties that he's taking. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree. But maybe Lance should stop buying such great clothes.
True. Interesting.
Yeah, like Lance buy rubbish clothes and no one's ever going to borrow them. Like that's what I do.
Yeah.
Evidently.
Case in point.
But then if the issue continues to happen, then we've got to ask ourselves different questions. Maybe he's trying to be his housemate, or maybe he's got a thing for his housemate.
Single white female thing going on.
Yeah.
That would be a bit creepy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, so, well, it's plain then, isn't it, Lance? Just buy rubbish clothes and then see what happens from there. Do we agree?
If it starts getting the same haircut, then you probably should.
Yeah, move out.
Yeah, move out.
Right.
Quick sticks, I would say. This reminds me of a similar problem. I think we had Lizzie the Lizard a couple of weeks ago, but this one is from Bo, and his partner has bought some kind of turbocharged car, which he's absolutely obsessed with and seems to be completely in love with this car. Bo's really worried that he might be being pushed out by a car. An inanimate object.
Well, is the car useful? I mean, does it stay in the garage and get polished, or does it do the grocery shopping? Does it pick the kids up from school? You know, is it playing a useful part in the relationship?
Clearly not, because he's concerned about it. I mean, I presume they'd do those things, but they could do them really quickly as well, because it's turbocharged.
Yeah, well,
He's very specific about the fact that it's turbocharged.
Yeah, that's a key word, isn't it?
Yeah. Is he feeling a bit threatened, just a bit insecure?
Well, who buys a turbocharged car unless you've got a small?
Well, that's where I was going with that one. And also, I don't understand cars at all. So I think he's constantly going to be in competition with this car, because I'm from the northern suburbs. I see how much they love their cars out there.
Yeah.
You're not going to compete with them. Move on.
Yeah. Leave him.
Well,
leave him and his turbo car.
I say pop it on Gumtree.
The car?
Yeah.
Or the boyfriend.
Either.
See which goes first.
See which goes first.
Yeah.
Okay, there, babe. Yeah, get rid of the car on Gumtree. Okay. Yes. Now then, poor old Yesh. Now, Yesh apparently plays. Are you familiar with Habbo Hotel?
No.
It's one of these virtual reality games.
Okay.
And Yesh met somebody in the virtual reality world and fell in love with them. And then they've discovered that the virtual reality friend has been unfaithful in the virtual reality. And Yesh is really upset.
Oh. Please.
Have you ever thought of counselling?
Thought of getting a life, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. Fantasy's about fantasy, surely.
Yep.
I would say
not a lot
Yesh
of empathy.
needs
I'm feeling not much empathy for Yesh here.
No, Yesh needs to man up or woman up. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like you just read the blurb of Inception out.
The names changed to protect the innocent. Yeah.
I've got no empathy either. It's like virtual heartache, virtual jealousy, like virtual.
It is virtual. I think that this is a good thing, though, that it's happened, because could you imagine a real-life human being having to put up with this person? So I think that if he's directing that insecure, creepy energy into some
online fantasy world
thing that doesn't really exist, and that's fine. That's keeping us all safe from this person.
Right. Okay.
We're
so
harsh.
Yesh, we think you're creepy and
Bring
insecure.
your problems to us.
I hope that helps.
You are so welcome.
All right, moving on. I think we kind of had this one. What's the best way? This is from Yanni. What's the best way for Yanni to tell her mum that she is stripping for money?
She could do two things. She could use words. Or she could bust some moves in the kitchen when she's drying up. Just, do some, and then...
Well, actually just start
just
stripping.
Open up the conversation that way, yeah.
Would that be slightly odd, to just start randomly stripping? I don't know.
It really depends on what Yanni's comfortable with, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a touchy topic.
It depends on the family culture too. If she lives in a household where people are used to just sort of pole dancing in front of each other, it could be water off a duck's back, but who knows?
Do you have a pole in your living room?
Not lately, no.
I did actually, truly in real life, not virtual life, interview to be a housemate in a house that had a pole in one of the rooms, one of the housemates. In fact, you've been to a party in that house.
Have I?
Yes, you have.
I didn't see the pole.
No, it had moved out. It was the Patterson house. But
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, there was a pole for pole dancing.
for the purpose thereof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure, it wasn't
So
much
people
fun.
do.
Yeah, pole dancing's hard. Just as a
It's
side note.
underrated, actually. Yeah.
It is very difficult.
It's a cool body work.
Yeah.
Got a lot of experience.
Skills.
No,
No.
I don't have the skills to achieve that.
No.
No.
So I think she needs to talk up the skill
Sorry,
element
yeah, we should
of the
get back
job.
to Yanni. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I think she
Yanni.
should talk up the skill element of the job, the pay, the flexibility, all of that, and then just see what her mother says.
Yeah, destigmatise it.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of people are using these, jobs out of hours, flexible. I think,
It's a bit like Uber driving.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's the equivalent.
Yeah.
In a kind of way, maybe.
I'm not sure if my colleagues agree.
Might be different to Uber driving.
What's inflexibility I'm talking about?
If my Uber driver took his shirt off, I'd probably be a bit worried. But,
Yeah.
Depends on what he looked like, really.
Well, that's true. Yeah. So I'm not sure if we've actually really helped Yanni too much. Quick, what would, if it was your mum, what would you say, Kirsty?
I'm actually with Maz. I would destigmatise it and explain the environment in which I'm working in.
Perhaps take her along. Take your mum to the show.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that's not how I'd explain it to her, though. I'd explain it and then take her.
I've got tickets for a show, Mum.
Yeah. I'm in it.
Lovely. I think that's all we've got time for. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Kirsty, Anthony, and Maz. We'll be back with some more lip service another time. Bye for now.
Good evening, welcome to Ben TV. My name is Steve Pereira and you're watching Quedia, the show where we explore all things art, culture and media. This evening we're talking to Bill about publications. In Melbourne, Bill Calder, some of you may recognise, as a Melbourne icon, publishing icon. He worked on Brother Sister in the 90s and more recently B News. Bill has recently produced a book called Pink Ink, which features the fabulous cover of Queen Victoria with a pink nose, and that's worth the price of admission in itself. Welcome to Ben TV, Bill.
Thank you, Steve.
We're talking about the publications, and we're talking about my favourite topic, male nudes.
Yes, well, the male nude publications, they emerged out of a anti-censorship push that had been going on in the 60s. Prior to this period, Australia had very strict censorship laws. You couldn't portray anything remotely that looked gay. Nudity was very much restricted. And
did that include things like those physique magazines and...
Physique magazines were legal, but they were very tenuous. They clearly were homoerotic, but they had to tread a very careful line. So they attached themselves to the very laudable activity of bodybuilding. And so this was a very manly activity and a healthy activity.
And that health related with as well with naturalist magazines like H&E and those magazines that also featured full frontal male nudity.
Yes, most of the physique magazines wouldn't show genitals.
All right, okay.
But you could have a very skimpy bathing suit on a man in those magazines, and they were the de facto porn of the time. But with the sort of changing attitudes and a kind of more liberationist approach that was occurring in the 70s, you then had a new strand of publication that came out that was clearly gay male nude and identified as such. And again, this was because of the less sensorial environment that we had at the time.
So what was the distribution channels then at that time? Could you sell them in a regular news agency?
You could sell them in news agencies to some extent. This was a little bit later. At first, they were mainly distributed through mail order and through the sex shops, which had also started to appear.
The plain brown envelope?
The plain brown envelope phenomenon, yeah. And in fact, the very first one was a Sydney man, John Baker. He started what was his magazine was William and John, named after his lover and himself at the time. It didn't last very long, that one. He was 21 when he started it. But it was this was 1972, just as the laws were changing. He still ran into a lot of trouble with censors and ended up with about 56 charges of breaking those laws against him and suffering fines and struggled quite a bit.
So these male nude magazines or publications exist simultaneously with the liberationists?
Yes. There was the political activists at the time in the 70s, and they didn't approve at all of these. So this was kind of a very early split within the gay and lesbian community. There was a feminist argument against this portrayal of male nudes generally, and the political liberationists took a similar line of opposing them. So it was kind of two very different streams of media occurring there in the 70s. And look, they established themselves, and particularly by the mid-70s when these laws sort of got bedded down, and they introduced a category called the restricted publication, which was really the brown paper bag syndrome that became legal in that environment.
So could Australians order stuff from overseas?
No. There was censorship on material coming in. I mean, America did produce some of these magazines before 1970, and they would occasionally appear in Australia, but usually someone brought them in their suitcase who'd been travelling. People may have got them through the post, but they ran the risk, and they'd suffer fines or worse. I mean, generally it was illegal to be gay, and you'd be outing yourself if you ordered one in through the mail.
So what were the most popular male nude magazines at the time?
Look, the most successful one was one that was called Gay. It appeared, initially it was called Butch, and then changed, and including its name, and became Gay by about 1975, and it kept going right through into the 90s. So it was very long running. It became a formula of nudes and classifieds and advertisements for sex aids. The only reason it stopped really was videos took over. Videos kind of wiped out the print market, and when videos in turn got wiped out by the internet.
That would have been the mid-80s.
The mid-80s, yeah.
So was there any equivalent lesbian?
There was, yep. Yeah. Again, the lesbian media was very strongly feminist right through the 70s and didn't approve.
But what about feminist erotica?
Well, there was kind of a view that sex had been used by men to oppress women, and sex should become an equal, non-penetrative even experience. So it became quite politically defined how to have sex, but the Wicked Women, the publishers of Wicked Women just thought this took all the fun out of sex, and so they rebelled entirely against these sort of ideas of nice, equal, friendly sex, and just wanted raunchy, wild sex.
Do we have any? Sorry, we're running out of time again. Do you have any of these remnants of these magazines still around now?
They're all there. The Australian Lesbian Gay Archives has almost a complete set of all these magazines, which is a tremendous resource.
But we don't have them in popular circulation, though.
Wicked Women has stopped publication. That's true.
Fascinating. Naked men and naked women.
An excellent formula.
We were progressing. Thank you, Bill. It's a fascinating discussion about male nudes and female nudes. You've been watching Bent TV. I'm Steve Pereira. We've been talking to Bill Calder, publishing icon from Melbourne. Thank you for watching. Good night.